And now I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Jibril Fall, Chairman of African Foundation for Development.
Co-chairs, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we congratulate member states for adopting the New York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants. It focuses minds on the specifics of large movements and the imperative for urgent action, cooperation, and responsibility sharing among states. Having worked with states and partners during the negotiations, I now commend to you the civil society response document entitled Act Now, as published. We acknowledge that progress has been made, yet we note that it is nowhere near enough. We observe that what could have been expected to be firm commitments are presented as considerations to be applied where appropriate. Alas, we noticed undue hesitancy, half-heartedness, and language that attempts to backslide on or undercut existing fundamental human rights standards. The New York Declaration reaffirmed that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. For refugees and migrants, civil society reminds us that they may lose many things when they move, but never their human rights and fundamental dignity. It is in this spirit of shared purpose, urgency, and goodwill that the Act Now civil society document recommends that 7 immediate actions be taken, starting with the production of an implementation plan before the 31st of December 2016. I have searched, but I could not find anything in the declaration which singularly furthers our knowledge and understanding of what we should do to address the known problems. Extraordinarily, we seem to know what should be done to protect refugees and migrants and facilitate and optimize their contribution to the development of countries of origin, transit, and destination. The challenge we face is that not all states are keen to implement the known best practices. A few member states are in fact inclined to adopt counterproductive actions. Indeed, the principle of equitable responsibility sharing may be inviolable, yet we face a moral hazard. Do we set the standards of protection and facilitation using the lowest common denominator, subject to being dragged down by the unwilling and the obstructionists? Do we spend much of our inadequate resources and time declaring and reaffirming the basic things we already agree on? Do we indulge in negotiations and gamemanship, whilst existing conventions, agreements, and best practices remain inert for want of implementation? As a community of nations, we witness failure in too many places and too many incidents regarding large movements of refugees and migrants. Are we reckless, incompetent, or indifferent? I ask because in the 21st century, humanity is at the zenith of her innovative capacity, her technological capability, and her operational prowess. As member states and non-state actors, and here in the United Nations, as a new Secretary General takes office, we propose that we make a major practical, emotional, and principled shift such that operational implementation and tactical means of implementation is given the highest priority. This is the practical game changer we need in order to enhance and optimize the achievement of our cherished aspirations, strategic goals, and commitments. So, let this summit be the kickoff point for implementation, operationalization, and action. 1 year into the Agenda 2030, we are in the era of implementation and action. As we work on the global compacts for refugees and migrants and for campaign against xenophobia, Let these not be strategic goals and aspirations, for we are already over-aspirational. Let these be about actions and tasks, for we are indeed underperforming. As we make a shift of emphasis towards implementation and operations, we shall embrace and normalize the techniques and processes of effectiveness and efficiency, and liberate states and non-state actors to innovate and activate options and opportunities to create best results for refugees, migrants, and communities and countries that host them. Ours is a wall of acreage of land and heads of people. It appears that we sanctify the acreage of land and the privileges thereof to the pernicious expense of heads of people and the humanity therein. We should remember that the plight of the refugee may be one of desperation and destitution, but the person of the refugee is neither hopeless nor helpless. Thank you.
Mr. Fall, for your statement.